First of all, happy New Year's Eve. Hopefully you guys are being safe today, and I wanted to do this early because obviously people are not going to be available at night, and neither am I. All right, so we are not going to make this long. First of all, smash that like just because you're here. Tell Google that you like this, that you like my content, and it'll make it easier for other people to reach my videos. All right, so here's the deal. This week literally alone, I have been asked probably 18 times as to whether when you remove something from your credit report, do you still have to pay for it? And unfortunately, the answer to this is yes. But if you just think about this for a moment, it will make sense, okay? Just imagine a world, just imagine an economy, just imagine a United States where you can just dispute something, get it removed from your credit report, and then not have to pay for it, right? Why pay for your credit cards? Why pay for your water bill? Why pay for your student loans? Why pay for anything for that matter? I mean, it's just as simple as sending out a couple disputes and getting it removed, right? The IRS wouldn't exist, right? Debt collection companies wouldn't exist. Lawsuits for this wouldn't exist. The credit bureaus wouldn't exist because it would be consequenceless. Why put it on your credit report to begin with? That is my question. All right. So yes, I understand. We want to remove these things from our credit report, and we want it to be quick. We want it to be overnight. We want to do these things and go out and get our credit and do it all over again, right? But it's not as simple as that. And if it were, this entire thing would be a little bit different. Now I'm just going to move my camera just a little bit this way. All right, that is a little bit better. All right, so if you were not here in the beginning, first of all, happy New Year's Eve. Doing this early because obviously I'm not going to be available later. You're not going to be available later. So that is why we are getting to this right now. Now, here's the reason why I was asked this question so many times this week, okay? And it was actually way more than 18 times. It was like every other call. Hey, Kristen, if you remove this XYZ account from my credit report, do I actually still have to pay for it? Hey, Kristen, do I actually have to pay to get it off to begin with, and then do I have to pay, if you can't get it off and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, dude, like, it doesn't exist like that. Why? Where do you get this information from? Who's telling you that you don't have to pay? Who's telling you that? All right, so look at this example here, because I don't want to get too far into this. I don't want to make this long, but we have two different sides to this, right? We have the credit bureaus who report the debt. They are literally in the data business, right? They obtain, maintain, and sell your information, okay? They do not hold or own your accounts, your debt, okay? That's on the other side, the data furnisher, the account holder, okay? Not all data furnishers are account holders, because you can actually have the original creditor, and then you can have the debt collector that is associated with it, right? But we're talking about the actual company that holds the debt, such as Capital One. So you have Capital One, you owe them $5,000. They report this to the credit bureaus, and they're basically showing everyone that, hey, you're either paying on time, or you are not paying at all, or you're paying late, or you are good and then you paid late. Whatever it is, your payment history is now reporting with the credit bureaus, and Capital One pays to get this information reported to the credit bureaus. And that's why you don't see all of your accounts reported on all three bureaus. The reason for this is because they actually have to pay for it. You're not going to see a tiny little, dental office, or let's just say a, medical collection agency, that doesn't pull in that much money, report to all three bureaus. Experian is the most expensive to report to, right? So we're just going to report to TransUnion, or we're only going to report to TransUnion and Equifax, okay? That's kind of how that works, but they still are the data furnishers. They are the ones reporting it. So, all right, now that you understand that part, what you're basically telling me is that when you go and you remove this from your credit report, now you no longer owe this debt. Why? It was just deleted from a database. See, your credit report is just a query, a search run on a massive database, because they report millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of accounts for millions of consumers, 270 scoreable consumers, right? So now all of this information is in these databases, and that's along with the actual dispute letters that you send out to the credit bureaus. They're all scanned into these databases, every single letter, and that's how they know that you are sending out a template, because it's been received before, and they know that because they scan every letter in. And that's how it gets verified as accurate without any sort of investigation. Okay, so in case you didn't know that, smash that like. All right, so here is what you're basically telling me. You're telling me that just because I send in a dispute letter and get something removed from a database, right? So now we're not going to have Capital One on here. All right, now that's gone. Now, all of a sudden, it's magic. You no longer owe that debt, right? How does that make sense? In what world and what universe does that make sense? Where did you get that information from? Who told you that? Who's telling you that you no longer have to pay just because it's removed from a database? It does not work like that. That debt still exists with Capital One or with whoever holds that debt, whether it's Portfolio Recovery or Midland or Calvary. You have to keep these things at the forefront of your mind when you're disputing. Just because it's removed does not mean that you no longer owe that debt. So yes, legally, you still have to go and pay it, right? Another thing that I heard this week was just because, and this goes way back, I've talked about this back in 2017, just because the debt is not with the original creditor anymore, you don't have to pay them. Well, why don't you tell that to the judge when you go and get sued? Well, if it were like that, wouldn't they just not sue you because they don't have the legal right to sue you and report the debt? And the debt collection industry would not exist if it were like that, right? So I'm not trying to, put a judgment on anybody. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to educate you and fill in that knowledge gap, because it's going to assist you in permanently removing those negative items and moving on with your life when you actually have the right set of mind and you understand the process. Everything is about processes. That is why so many consumers don't legally and permanently remove their negative items, because they don't have the right mindset. They don't understand the process, or they refuse to understand the process, right? They want to just think that you can go in and screw up your credit, get these horrible credit scores, and remove it all, sweep it under the rug, and do it again. Yes, I do a legal and permanent credit sweep, which you can see if I can do one for you using that link right there, my740.com. But that's only the beginning of it. You have to send out dispute rounds. They're called rounds for a reason, kind of like going into a fight with like the UFC or boxing, right? Obviously, there's going to be a winner at the end, and hopefully that's going to be us, but there's a process to get there. You don't just send out one dispute letter and then, wham, ma'am, thank you, ma'am, all your negative items are gone. And you know what? It only took 30 days versus the 5 years that you waited to rack up negative debt versus the 2 years it took you to build your credit report to begin with, okay? So even though there's a process, you have a due process to dispute inaccurate information on your credit report. And that is the process that we use. That is the process that's going to remove these negative items permanently. We don't want to suppress it. We don't want it to be gone for 30 days. We don't want it to be deleted and then come right back on because we used the wrong process. No. When you do it the right way, they are gone. They are gone permanently. They're not going to come back. And you're going to allow yourself to actually sleep better at night knowing that, hey, you know what? I got this bankruptcy off. I got these collections off. I got this foreclosure off. I got these late payments off. Or even if it's just one measly medical bill, all right? Doesn't matter what it is. When you do it the right way, you know that you're going to be able to remove those negatives, increase your score, move on with your life, get the credit that you want and that you deserve. You deserve to have the lifestyle within reason, obviously, that you want, and you can go and achieve that. But when you have realistic expectations, when you realistically look at this and say, you know what, there's no pot of gold at the end of some rainbow that doesn't exist. No, but what there is the opportunity to have a second chance to make a first impression. And that is exactly what this is. That is exactly what we're doing. All right. It didn't work out the first time. That's okay. That's okay. We live in America. We have a due process to dispute inaccurate information on our credit report, and that's exactly what we do. So here, as a recap, yes, that debt still exists. Removing it from here does not remove the actual account. It does not obliterate it. It does not delete it. It does not get rid of it. All it does is delete it from a database, just like if you are on an Excel spreadsheet and you remove the entry in row 1. That's all that happens, okay? That actual entry, whatever it is, that account or that bill or whatever that is, that still exists somewhere. You just removed it from a spreadsheet. That's all that happened, okay? Kind of like if you want to put up a website, you don't like it, your business went under, you take it off Google, and hey, guess what? That business still exists somewhere, the accounts you had, the money you made, whatever, but it's just off Google. That's all that happened, okay? It doesn't get rid of the actual business itself just because you removed it from the internet. It doesn't work like that, all right? So what do we do from here? Well, the answer to that is actually quite simple. This explanation was not quite simple, okay? Because so many people have a misconception of this. And I don't want you going into the new year having these false notions about how difficult this is. It's difficult, but it is attainable, okay? That's all that you need to worry about, okay? So your first step is pulling your credit report from the right place. If you don't have the proper information, you will not be able to dispute it the right way. If you can't dispute it the right way, you're not going to get it removed in a timely manner. And guess what? That's all that's going to do is set you back, okay? You can find they are affiliate links, okay? So a bit of a caveat there. You can find my affiliate links for Identity IQ and Smart Credit in the description of this live, as well as any video. And my recommendation is Smart Credit. It shows more information. More information with factual disputing is obviously a no-brainer, okay? So get the credit report from the right place. Pick it apart, go through every single line of it and find out what is reporting inaccurately. First, what's negative, then what's inaccurate or what's in violation. Find the number one reason, right, that you can use to dispute that account. What's more important than the other? Well, if you don't know that, you may want to go back through my over 1,100 videos right here on YouTube that break it down and explain to you how to remove negative items from your credit report, okay? Then go and write your dispute letter. That's only the first step. That's only the first step in this process. What happens if they come back and they say that it's verified as accurate? Do you know what to do then? What happens if you tell them, hey, blah, 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 investigate this, and they just completely and totally ignore you? Well, hey, guess what? They were required to respond within 30 days, right? Just like all these other people here tell you, oh, well, you're absolutely going to get it removed if they don't respond in 30 days. No, it doesn't work like that. If it were like that, they would have responded. Or if it were like that, when they didn't respond, it would have automatically came off. Okay, now I just can't even speak. So, anywho, you need to know exactly what to do after that point when they either verify as accurate or they don't respond or they send you a stall tactic or so on and so forth, okay? They are only giving you one part of the scenario. What about the what ifs? What about the what ifs? Well, if you can't answer that, you may want to go back to my videos. You may want to go through my playlist. You may want to go and check out my free course at hub.my740.com. So it's the same link with hub in front of it, okay? It's going to show you how to do a credit sweep for free. Boom. Okay. Now, all you got to do is go through the process, remove the negative items. You're going to increase your score, build out your credit, and you can move on with your life. Never have to watch these videos again on New Year's Eve, and everybody will go away happy, all right? Now, while that may sound like it's a simple process, it's really not a simple process. Obviously, I wouldn't have over 1,100 videos breaking this down if it were a simple process, okay? Just like understanding this is not simple, but when you put it in simple terms, yes, the debt still exists. Yes, you still have to pay it. And hey, guess what? Who's going to force you to pay? No one's going to force you to pay. But if it's within the statute of limitations for them taking you to court and it's over a specific amount, they will take you to court. And, there's some states like, California, where they can, garnish up to 75%. New York, I think, is 20 or 25%. So if you want to protect your money, you need to start thinking very, very smartly. That brings me to another thing that just popped in my head. So one of the things I tell you all the time is if you have a debt buyer collection reporting on your credit report, such as Midland or Portfolio or Calvary or Second Round, do not, listen to me, do not send a validation of debt dispute letter to them if it's within the statute of limitations. They will take you to court, okay? All those letters, the VOD letters, those are supposed to go to the other collectors and other data furnishers. It's not supposed to go to them, okay? And you also want to look at if you owe Bank of America or Chase or any, the real big guys, guess what? they are notorious for lawsuits. So you need to be careful. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. You're going to end up putting yourself in a position that you will not be able to get out of without spending a ton of money hiring an attorney, trying to dig your way out, okay? So that's just my 2 cents, all right? That's why people call professionals, all right? This lady was like, hey, you know what? I disputed directly with Portfolio Recovery, and now, they're suing me over $50,000 that I owe Citi. And I'm like, why did you dispute directly with them? It's within the statute of limitations. It's hella money, and you're over here saying, oh, prove this debt is mine, blah, 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 or remove it from my credit report. Okay, here we go. Let's go prove it. So if you don't think these places are going to be able to obtain the documentation during the discovery process of a lawsuit, yes, they will, okay? They may either ignore you now while you're disputing or, send you some stupid statements, but guess what? They're going to furnish that documentation during that lawsuit, and guess who's going to get garnished? It's you, okay? If you don't want that to happen, you need to be very careful who you are directly disputing with. Now, if you cannot afford to, pay for a course or hire someone such as myself who will not ever put you in that type of position, I would recommend only disputing with the credit bureaus, okay? If you don't know how to do that, again, I have a ton of videos that break this entire process down so that you don't ask questions like this about having to pay for something if it's removed from a database, okay? Now, I'm not trying to make it sound like, the people that ask me these questions are, stupid or anything like that, because the only question that's stupid is the one that's not asked, because then I can't help you, right? But when you break it down in the simplest of terms, why would that debt go away just because it's deleted? Do the bureaus own that debt? No, they don't. That's not their money, okay? They're just reporting that money, all right? So, they can't speak for someone else's money just the same as you can't, force them to remove something, all right? So anyways, I know we talked about many, many things right now. My brain is all over the place. I have a ton of information that even after 9 years, yes, 9 years here on YouTube, I still have to give you, all right? But it's just because I care. I want you to go into the New Year's with the best of resolutions, which is the one where you're actually going to keep it and move forward with your life and remove your negatives and be productive and motivate yourself to get the credit score that you need to go out and get the credit that you need, all right? And the only way that you're going to do that is with the right guidance, all right? So anywho, I'm going to get going, but if you want to see if I can personally do a credit sweep for you, because there's no learning curve for me. I'm going to do it faster than you. I'm going to do it better than you. And you know what? That's not me being arrogant. I don't have to be. I've got the numbers to prove it. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, and mine say it all. So anyways, link is right there, my740.com. I hope you are safe. If you don't have to go anywhere, please don't go anywhere. There's going to be drunk drivers, all right? And obviously I don't want anything to happen to you. So, but otherwise, have a wonderful new year. And I will also let you know that I'm going to be doing a credit sweep giveaway, all right? So maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night, I'm going to be posting a video with a link where you can either submit your file or someone that you know. You're going to have to, kind of break down what they have on there, but I'm going to be choosing someone live based on these submissions, and I will do a credit sweep for that person for totally free. 100% free. Why am I doing that? Well, because they're going to have to agree to do their updates live on YouTube with me. All right. So that is the catch right there. So anyways, I hope you have a great one. Again, please be safe. I'm not trying to drag this on longer than it has to be, but bottom line is, just because something is removed from your credit report, it does not mean that you no longer owe the debt. The debt does not go away. They can still sue you for it if it's within the statute of limitations. And if you don't protect yourself by doing this the right way, then all you're doing is digging yourself a hole or a ditch or whatever. And it's not a place that you want to be, all right? So start thinking like an astute consumer, a smart consumer. And I promise you, you're going to get significantly farther, all right? So that's it. That's a wrap. I hope you have a great one. I will see you next year. And if you are interested in that free credit sweep giveaway, it's only going to be one person, all right? Then check out the video that I'm going to be posting tomorrow afternoon-ish between 2 and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's it. I'll see you next year. That sounds so crazy. I'll see you next year. All right, make sure that you smash that like, subscribe if you haven't done so that you too can increase your credit scores and move on with your vida, all right? And always remember that you can turn stress into strength and just go out and get money. All right. So peace out. Bye.